Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Roger Pride, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do something new. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the history of Islam, why I disagree with the Islamic religion, and a request I have for Muslims, the Islamic people. So first off, we believe that the creation of Islam, the first story of Islam, how it came about, is will be found in Genesis 16. Basically, we have the father of Israel, whose name is Abram. Later on, Abraham. He was married to a woman called Sarai. Sarai wasn't able to have children, so she had a Egyptian slave named Hagar. Hagar and Abram got together to have a child at the request of Sarai. Hagar got pregnant. Hagar had a son, named him Ishmael. Then Sarai got pregnant, unfortunately, and as anybody with any historical knowledge will know, the problem is when you have a child who's firstborn who is not your wife's son, is as a bastard, is what we're talking about. There's problems there. So Sarai flees the family because of that reason, because she fears for Ishmael's life. And I believe that as Ishmael grew up, Hagar taught Ishmael in both uh, Egyptian and Jewish culture as she became polytheistic of Judaism and the Egyptian standard beliefs. And this is what we have as the birth of Islam. Fast forward a few centuries down to um, what was it? Muhammad. He had some writings as the Muslims see him as a prophet equivalent to Jesus. He had some. He basically changed the religion and gave it a lot of warrioristic beliefs and uh, basically the problems we see in third world countries, I believe, stem from the teachings of Muhammad. There was a lot in there about wives and virgins that he added in uh, as rewards for valor in battle, and a lot of that. There was also about over 109 verses advocating violence in the Quran. These were without context, unlike the Bible that gives reasons and it gives set standards and rules for each campaign or for each battle. These verses are open-ended. They do not give context. They just basically go out and say kill the infidels for their beliefs. This is from the Quran itself. I am not nitpicking, as there are 109 verses to this, or above 109 verses in multiple religious texts. That's in all of them, not 109 each, of course. A few of them I'll read: and kill them wherever you find them, and turn them out from where they have turned you. And disbelief or unrest is worse than killing. But if they desist, then Allah is forgiving and merciful. Fight them until there is no more disbelief or worship of others along with Allah, for worship is for Allah alone. But if they cease, let there be no transgression except al against polytheism and wrongdoers. Basically, what this is saying for us grammatically inept. This is saying that if somebody doesn't believe what you believe, if somebody is of an other culture, or if somebody, uh, yeah, if they hold different beliefs, you need to kill them wherever you can find them. Uh, if they have strongholds where they don't allow you to go, or if they have captured cities of yours, you need to kill them because their disbelief or their unrest being stuff that we see today, such as protests, maybe looting, burning, rioting, is worse than killing. So basically, their actions are worse, so bad that their death is required. However, if they are beaten, if they are, you know, beaten in terms of, giving surrender without terms, uh, leave them alone because uh, polytheism, which is the belief in two religions. If they accept your religion, but they also follow their religion, that's okay, as long as they accept your religion. If they believe in your religion, even though Judaism, Christianity, and uh, Islam, and I'd go so far as to say Catholicism, are mutually exclusive. If you believe in one, then each religion uh, disallows the belief in the other. You have a conflict there. Quran 2:244. Then fight in the cause of Allah, and know that Allah heareth and knoweth all things. This is one of the lesser uh, violent, I guess I'd say, because fight can be used in multiple contexts in this verse, as in Christians believe that we fight in the battleground of the soul, not on the physical battleground. It's not about war, it's not about killing, it's about fighting disbelief, it's about debate, it's about bringing them to your point of view, it's about saving them from their sin. So that verse can be taken out of context. That's where I'd say that it's contextual. And if you're a Muslim, you might be able to get me on that verse. Fighting is prescribed for you, and ye dislike it, but it is possible that ye dislike a thing that is good for you, and ye love a thing which is bad for you. But Allah knoweth, and ye know not. Basically, this says that Allah knows more than you, so button up and man up and do what I tell you. Which anarchists would really love. Uh, Quran 3:56, and those who reject faith, I will punish them with terrible agony in this world and in the hereafter, nor will they have anyone to help. Again, inciting violence. Quran 3:151, soon shall we cast terror into the hearts of the unbelievers, for that they join the companions of Allah. For that they joined companions with Allah, for which He is sent no authority. Basically, this is saying that Allah is honestly on this verse that I have no idea what this is saying. Quran 4:74. Let those fight in the way of Allah who sell the life of this world for the other. Whoso fighteth in the way of Allah, be he slain or be he victorious, on him we shall bestow a vast reward. Basically, this is talking about a certain level of heaven for martyrs. In some other religions, it also follows the uh, same ideology that there is a better reward for those who die for their beliefs. So basically, the point of this is to show that the Quran uh, does have many verses that incite violence without context. This is calling the Muslims to fight, and taken in the context that I'm showing here, it is very easy to, as they say, radicalize to this. Now, I want to stress that I know that not all Muslims prescribe to this. A lot of the uh, smart people, a lot of what do you call them now? I completely spies and stuff. Intelligence gathering, yeah, intelligence gathering, uh, places, the corporations and stuff in multiple countries say that about 75% of Muslims don't prescribe to the certain uh, view that these verses are valid. I wouldn't say valid. I don't want to misrepresent this wrong, but that these verses are in this context valid today. So basically, I'm trying to say that Muslims don't believe that it's their job to kill people of other views. But I'm here to show you that in a certain context, the Quran does not give context to these verses. In a certain context, these verses are as valid today as in the Crusades, as in the wars between Christianity, Judaism, and Muslim. The Assyrian, the wait, that's a bit too far back. The Eastern Roman Empire, aka the Byzantine Empire, occupation of Judaism, the Islamic coalition against Israel, Alexander the Great, all those, the Six-Day War, all of that. Now, again, I'm stressing that I am not against the Muslim people. I am against Islam as a religion, as a philosophical movement, as a ideology. This is not racist. This is a set of beliefs and structures, and under the First Amendment, I'm afforded freedom of speech, as is a basic human right. Nothing should be above criticism. Nothing should be seen as untouchable as far as words, as far as politics. Either you're going to have full freedom of speech or you're not going to have any. I can sit here and say that I don't agree with President Obama. I believe that his actions are not in the best interest of the American people. I can sit here and say that I believe that Hillary Clinton has committed uh, uh, felonies against the American people, against the American government. And I have the right to say that I agree and I have voted for Donald Trump. Now, if you disagree with me, it is your job to beat me on political, ideological, or religious grounds. If you go and try to censor someone's belief, censor meaning silence, you are in the wrong. That goes for anything, really. There's no problem with belief in something, but once you blindly believe in something, then it becomes a problem. That even goes for Christianity. If you're going to believe in something, then you need to study it. Study why it's true. This isn't Sunday school. You can't just say, I believe this because God says it's wrong. No, what is the nature of God? Is, why does he say it's wrong? What is the nature of your belief? Now, I'm willing to debate. I'm willing to be criticized. If you're a YouTuber, if you put your views out there, you're going to have criticism. I hate the disable comments button. That should be taken out. So, Yeah. Let's see. Birth of Islam. Oh yeah. So, my request for Muslims, for Islam, for people who do not agree that these verses are valid today. If you believe in the Quran, if you believe in Abu Dawud, uh, if you believe in the Tabari, the Bukhari, and all these, but you do not believe in the violence, if you do not believe in censorship, if you are a following Muslim and you do not subscribe to the certain aspects that say that it is your job to kill another person for their beliefs, if you are a part of the 75% of people who are not radicalized to this religion, you have a job. It is your job to condemn the actions of these groups. So I ask any Muslim today to condemn the actions of ISIS. ISIS is killing lots of people for their beliefs. Christians, Jews, etc. They're even killing Muslims if you're taking people who are making militias against them. I ask you to condemn Hezbollah as a leader. Uh, Says he hopes that the Zionist Jewish people will all congregate to Israel so they don't have to hunt them down to kill them. And I ask you to condemn the uh, the Hamas. Hamas, that's what it is. These are rebel groups. The only reason, or one of the major reasons, I should say, of why they're able to exist is because they have the silent, I want to say acceptance, but that's not exactly the right for it. The the silence of the Muslim people. The Muslim people aren't speaking out against it. So you have the people in Muslim Islamic society, more of the less economic countries of the Muslim society, who, you know, they aren't educated, they can't afford education, their governments can't afford education, so they strive on pure passion, passion for their beliefs. They might not study the Quran as readily as somebody else might, and they read these verses and they don't get it in the same context. So they go and fight for their beliefs. The same as with any cult. This is blind faith. They're not studying what they believe, and they're fighting for what they believe is just. The same was problem with the Crusades. You had the Bible written in Latin when not a lot of people in Rome were able to speak Latin, or Latin as they spoke Italian. Or Italian. Does that sound right? I'm not sure if the language is correct, but the problem was the Bible was in a different language than the common man. So you had people who weren't able to study the Bible, and they got radicalized on the religious leaders of the Roman Catholic Church. So if you're a Muslim, I want you to be more vocal about why it's wrong. It is your job to educate your followers. I mean, isn't that the whole point of a religion? To save as many souls as you can, to get as many people believing in the same thing as you can, to debate your beliefs, to bring them over? But no. Every time I've asked a Muslim, do you condemn Hezbollah? Do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn uh, uh, ISIS or ISIL or whatever they like to call themselves now? They're silent. So, three things. There's three possibilities here. Either they agree, in which case they don't have the best interest for the American people. They agree with these actions. Number two, they don't care, which is still a problem with the American people. Or number three, they're afraid. They're afraid they'll be ridiculed. I asked the Muslim leaders, the Islamic, what do they call them? Hamans, I think. The pastors or the priests of Islam. I ask you to teach your people. Say I don't agree with their actions. Pray for them. You know, send them. Maybe not letters, but do something. Get on Facebook. Say why you disagree. Be vocal of why you disagree. If you're not vocal, then no one stands there to oppose them. Just as the saying goes, the best way to kill a spy is with a spy. Now, the best way to fight an ideology is with an ideology. The best way to fight a religion is with a religion. The best way is to fight a war with soldiers. If you're going to debate a religion, debate it in religious grounds. If you're going to debate a ideology, debate it in ideological grounds. And another thing, can we have Christians make a discernment between when they say something against Islam? We need to show the Islamic people that we are not against Islam. The Islamic people. We are not against the people. We are against the ideology. I can't even pronounce it. Ideology. Ideology. I can't. You know what I'm saying. The philosophy or the religion or the political structure. Make that distinction. Say, I am not against you. I am against this. The Bible tells us, and I'm talking the Bible from Yahweh, the Christian Judeo Bible. The Bible tells us to uh, attack hatred with passion, or with compassion, with love. I see Christians online who might not quite be saying things to the extent of the Westboro Baptist Church, but close to it. Last time I read the New Testament, I didn't read anywhere that fags go to hell, or fags, God hates fags. I didn't read anywhere that sinners should die, that God hates the military. You know, I read about a man who went to the hurting, the sick, the one who went to the people who didn't, the people who society didn't like. I hear people trying to refute the Christian belief because the Old Testament talks about stoning, and certainly stoning is practiced in Islam today. But wasn't there a whole thing about Jesus saying the first man who is without sin shall throw the first stone? What happened to that? What happened to love? What happened to the compassion? We have the people online who, the Christians online who, they aren't grounded in their own faith. And now, while I realize that, Christianity is a, you know, it kind of goes on a scale of enlightenment. Let's just say it. Over time you learn more and more about your religion. You get closer and closer to God through your walk with Christ. I thought it was All sin is the same. All sin has the same punishment. Your job is not to judge a sinner for their sins. If all sin has the same punishment, does it matter what the sin is? Isn't hatred as much of a sin as homosexuality? Isn't lying just as much of a sin as murder in our own theology? Who doesn't matter who it is? Who doesn't matter what it says? The Bible doesn't make that distinction. The Bible says show love, show compassion, show the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. Uh, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. Something in self-control. What was the fifth one? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, and self-control. It's been a while. That's what the Bible teaches. Now, if you disagree with me, criticize me, refute me on religion, science, ideology, philosophy, politics. My name's Dragon's Pride, signing out.